Hi there. Today is a Friday after work. I have just an hour to do a little thrifting before I head over to my boyfriend's house. So I'm at the St. Vincent de Paul's in Waukesha. Haven't been here in quite a while, but really excited to see what's on the shelves. Let's get in there. Let's hit it. I sometimes take a look in the tool area, even though this is not an area I'm familiar with, just to find cool things like this. I do not know what this is. Some sort of handle and pulley system. One is on a stand. Two look like almost like fishing reels. I have no idea. They're priced at $3.99. They look old. Someone out there, if you can tell me what those are, I'd be really grateful. We've got planters and vases here. This is a hand thrown one. It's okay. Back here is another hand thrown one. It looks a little on the primitive side, which isn't always a bad thing. Then down here we have a hand painted, probably hobbyist piece, and next to it is a cloche with a wooden disc and a tall glass display dome. More vases here. This is a pretty spring colored transferware piece. It might have some age. Took a quick look at it. Another day I might have picked it up. I do like the design, but this day I decided to leave it behind. Lots of variety here. Down here's some vintage. Right here is the little baby buggy planters. I don't think these usually bring a whole lot of profit, but they are sweet. So you've got a little pink one, and down here is a hand painted, beautiful large pot with spongeware on the bottom. It's got some really nice hand painting spongeware on the rim, but it is $10.99. I think I'm going to have to leave that behind, although that's very nice. Still among vases, and here's a cute little figurine vase ceramic. Of course, it's a nice abstract elephant, so I kind of like it, but it's pretty contemporary. Next to it, we had a brass and ceramic vase, very lightweight though. And here is, now this is a style I kind of am partial to. Now, I know this is probably just made in China, but it's got that kind of Italian look with this skipped white glaze, and it's got an imprinted pattern, and I really kind of like it. So I'm just gonna put it in my cart. Here is real Italian pottery, but not as exciting a design, so I'm actually gonna leave that. Here among the faux flowers, I find a flower pocket. Pull it out. It is resin. It's made by Iris and Orchid Design Inc. And they do make a lot of pretty resin wall pockets just like this for faux flowers. They actually do sell pretty well. I wasn't as interested because it was resin. I probably should have picked it up. Over here's an air plant. Last time I was here, they really organized where they put all the vintage collectibles at the end of their area. Well, they've expanded and they've kind of reblended things. So I'm just in the tchotchke area, but I'm finding some, cool older things. These Japanese dolls are kind of neat. I do sometimes pick up Japanese kimono art. That is a piece of slag glass made into a plate. Over here we've got some, looks like some potentially mid-century barware, maybe a Tom Collins glass or a tumbler. And here we've got some carnival glass, large carnival glass, but also large price, $17.99. This is a very pretty, probably vintage green glass. Been surprisingly drawn to just clear green glass lately. Here's another piece. Now, this is $9.99. Had that been lower, I would have picked that up. I definitely like the sawtooth, and I like the shape of that. I don't know, maybe with that sawtooth edge, it's American Brilliant, but not sure. Then we have this nice metal casserole pan with the hand painting. Again, the prices are just beyond what I can do to purchase and flip. This was a nice ceramic piece. It had a chip. Still is priced up even with that chip, so I can't take that. Down here, here's some, this looks like restaurant ware. I like the weight, and turn it over, it looks like it's Pyrex bowls, which means that these probably are collectible. Someone wants them, so I wonder what the price is. Do I take a look at the price in this video? Hopefully I do. Where's that price? Ah, $13.99. Yeah. Yeah. So nice pieces, but too much for reselling. Over here, continuing on with a lot of different kinds of items, and they are mixing in the vintage and collectibles with others now. Here's a nice jug. It is Early Brothers Winery. It is the Amana Colonies. I believe those are in Iowa. Got a nice floral themed green bowl there, nice dish. And here is a bud vase, and turning it over, it is Royal Hager. And the price is not bad. It's $2.69. The problem is this particular glaze does have a lot of little nicks and chips, little ones. I could have maybe picked it up, but I decided to leave it because of the condition. Although typically I sell my Hager bud vases pretty well. Down here on the shelf below, I've got some more green glass. Green is definitely the color. That looks like it could be uranium glass. I'm pretty sure that's uranium glass, and they've priced it at $9.99 as if it is uranium glass. And I don't even bother to take out my black light because I look and there's just a lot of chips on those petals at the edge. So that would be, I think it's too damaged for resale. If you love the uranium glass, you know, you might just pick it up for $9.99 and just use it yourself, and that would be a great way to expand your collection. Down here we've got some more pitchers and basins. Those don't sell very well, and they've also got them priced up. I'm among the tchotchkes and figurines, and actually again, this store is kind of mixing things in quite a lot all over the place. So, but this has a little bit more of the figurines to look at. So I take a look at these little figurines. Look at these. These are cute. These are wooden. They are handmade. And looking at the bottom, they are stamped as being from Norway. They're cute, and they are handmade, and they look vintage, so I'm going to put them in my cart. And even though they are priced up a bit at $5.99 each, I'm going to take a look and see what they are selling for on eBay. Meanwhile, there is a pretty silver overlay bowl here. Back here, this is the bottom of a tumble up. I could put it in my cart and go look for the cup, but I don't have a ton of time today, so I decide to just move on. Here is a pretty, it's almost like flowware plate. This is made in England, I believe. It's a nice plate. I decide to put it back. I spot this pottery, and I like pottery, as you know. This looks like a soap dish with some fun feet on the bottom, and it's with another footed, literally footed, well, in design, toothbrush holder. And I know some people get grossed out by picking up toothbrush holders. I will do it because, you know what? Hot water, soap, a little bleach, it takes care of everything. So I do decide to leave those on the shelf, though, this time. Here's another pretty green glass bowl. Lots of green glass here today, and a lot of it is very nice. Moving along, here's some more figurines that look like they could have some age, and they are from Norway as well. The costumes on these are Norwegian, but each one of these is $10.99. It's more than double the little figurines I picked up already. So even though this is something I would ordinarily be very interested in, handmade wooden decorative items or toys, in this case I'm going to have to put them on the back on the shelf for $10.99 each. They're very, very cool. So they hitch a ride for a while. Then down here, I notice a set of really pretty patterned glass in multiple colors. The price again a little high for me. Some Tom and Jerry cups. Tom and Jerry's is a alcohol drink with whipped egg whites. It's made for the holidays, and I didn't know they had their very own cups, so that's pretty cool. Down here on the lower shelf, of course, I'm looking at this hand painted, hand glazed, and signed vase. It's got a swirly glazed design in browns and sort of a gray blue, and it's very boho-y, so I'm thinking about it. Meanwhile, look at this yellow plate. This has etching. It looks almost just exactly like a plate I passed on recently at a Goodwill, and this is priced maybe more than twice as much as the other one, so I leave it. I really like the Victorian spooky look for Halloween, and this hanging plaque has a very Victorian look to it. The graphic is nice. It's only 99 cents. It isn't like it's contemporary. It's not the finest item ever. It's just particle board that it's on, but I still think that this is kind of nice, and I have some friends who might like it too, so I picked that up. Here's a hand-carved little bird. It looks like a toucan, and it's kind of nice, but $7.99, that's high for what I typically would pay. And looking at the feet, oh, I think I see a missing toe. So that is going to stay on the shelf, but I do like hand-carved birds. Back here, this looks like it could be a hand-thrown pot, but I decided to leave that. More things to look at here, and in the back is a hand-painted Delft Blau. Is this a candle holder, maybe a potpourri holder? Not sure. Delft Blau is the older version of Delft compared to Delft Blue, I believe. Moving on, here some really pretty matched plates in different pastel colors. Plates and little wavy bowls. Very textured, very pretty. That's a nice little set. If there had been a fourth one, I would have looked closer. Here we've got a vintage trinket box shaped like a heart with some birds on it. Another interesting handmade piece there. And then I pull out this box. This looks like a bank. It's got etching on the sides, and on the bottom it's marked Toystalgia. I have trouble saying that. Toystalgia. I have picked up Toystalgia in the past, and there is a community of collectors interested in these items. So it's a bank. It's also a music box, which I find out later. I didn't look closely enough at this point, but I did decide I was going to take that with me. So I noticed this little metal piece among all the candles. I'm like, what is this little metal box? And it is only $3.49, and when I open it, it's a candle. It's a candle with a metal book shaped box to hold it, and I just thought that was cute. So I don't need candles, but I'm taking that with me. Moving on, that is a frosted glass candle holder. I've got a little ewer here. Canisters, jars, lid jars, coffee canisters, all kinds of things here. So the first thing I look at, this looked like it had maybe a little age, but it is a contemporary piece made to look old. Got some heavily patterned glass bottles with stoppers, and then I noticed this, and this is a Robinson Ransbottom pottery piece. It is a crock. It is dedicated to Mom, and it's got a pretty vintage wooden lid and a handle. Moms are special. Mother's Day is coming up. I think I might take this with me. It's kind of quaint and sweet, and I like crocks. I like a good crock, especially with a wooden lid. So here's my cart review. We only have a few items today. We've got that hand painted and signed pottery vase. It's a nice size and I like the pattern. It's very kind of boho, mid-century even, although it's not dated. So that's going to come with us. Then we have the Toystalgia cube bank. That little key there turns and it does play music, but it needs a little fix still. Then we have this Barnes and Noble book candle, which is kind of cool. Then we've got these Hennings hand carved, I think vintage Norwegian figurines. Those are, I also think, very cool. Of course, there's the repair with a little toothpick instead of an instrument, but I still think that's nice. Then we've got the white vase, and we've got the Robinson Ransbottom crock with a lid in honor of moms. Made in Roseville, Ohio. And finally, we have this Victorian Halloween wall hanging. I love it for the creepy, spooky look.
So we managed to find a few things, even though, of course, it's when I go to places that know the vintage and resale market and price things up, it's really like looking for a needle in a haystack, because you got to find the thing that they may have overlooked or not been quite aware of. I picked up some things I liked, but it wasn't a huge score. But I did especially like those little figurines, which is unusual for me because I'm not a super figurine person, whatever that means. Like my channel, subscribe and comment. Come back soon. Thrift on. We'll do this again.